Farm Basics is brought to you by the Liberty Link trait and Liberty herbicide from Bayer. The most reliable weed management solution, Liberty Link and Liberty herbicide are the link to efficient row crop production and sustainable weed management.
Well, a few months ago, Darren, I was reading a newspaper. This was a major national newspaper, and the title of the article included the words, Agent Orange Corn.
Well,
and I thought, oh my goodness.
They aren't trying to scare anybody out there, are they, Brand? You know, when you think about Agent Orange, if you're under 20 years old and you've never heard about this at all, Agent Orange is considered a pretty bad thing because in Vietnam, they sprayed it right over the top of some troops who were out there going through the jungle. It did a great job of burning all the vegetation down in that jungle. That was nice. The problem is that some people got cancer 10 years, 20 years, 30 years later after exposure to it.
Yeah, okay, so let's just talk about this a little bit. This is something that our dad is very passionate about and a lot of farmers are because number one, he served in the military. Okay, so that's a bad thing when we had a bunch of military people who were hurt by something that the government did in going out spraying. But secondly, he's also passionate about it because he says, you know who paid the lawsuit bill? I said, no. He goes, farmers. I'll tell you how, because Dow Chemical ended up paying for that Agent Orange thing, and it wasn't their fault. It was an off-label application. You weren't supposed to spray it right over the top of the people, but for some reason, Dow got stuck paying the bill. And anyway, he said the very next day after the settlement came out, guess what happened to the national price on 2,4-D to farmers? Doubled immediately, just like that. So he said, we as farmers ended up paying the bill. Now, I don't care who paid the bill today. This is 40 years ago. What I do care about is we don't have Agent Orange anymore, and let's talk about why Agent Orange was a problem even back then.
It's interesting to note that there are some different ingredients that went into that product. It wasn't just one straight ingredient, and there were some contaminated ingredients in that particular one.
Yeah, so 2,4-D made up half of Agent Orange, and 2,4,5-T was the other half. The problem came in that the 2,4,5-T happened to be contaminated with dioxin, which is a very toxic chemical. So that's obviously a bad thing. But the 2,4-D side of it, that's actually relatively safe. In fact, if you look at the LD50 right on the label of 2,4-D, it's 1,000 milligrams per kilogram of body weight. In other words, it's going to take about 5 times more 2,4-D to kill you than it is caffeine because the LD50 on caffeine is only 200. And over all these years that 2,4-D has been used, it's never been found to cause cancer. There's not that problem. Now, I'm not saying don't be careful with it, but what I am saying is 2,4-D should absolutely not be referred to as Agent Orange because it's not going to kill people.
Well, the reason this is all coming up is because Dow is coming out with corn, soybeans, and cotton over the next few years that are going to be tolerant to 2,4-D. So you can spray 2,4-D in the crop and it'll do a great job burning down weeds, but it won't hurt those crops because they'll have genetic tolerance for 2,4-D. So there are a lot of people in the environmental world that are getting nervous about this, that, oh boy, here's a new product that farmers are going to be able to spray on corn. It's a genetically modified crop, and they're going to spray it on beans and cotton too. We need to be concerned about that, and we need to put up a fight.
Yeah, and our whole thing is you need to know the facts going into this thing. There is no Agent Orange anymore. The 2,4-D that was in Agent Orange, there was nothing wrong with it in the first place. Now, obviously, it's not labeled to spray over the top of human beings, but it's not this big cancer causer or anything else. That was something else that was in that Agent Orange. And obviously, biotech crops, they're safe. They've been proven by our government time and time and time and time again that they are safe. All the science that's come out on the biotech crops shows that they're safe to human beings. So don't get all worried about some of the misleading headlines that say Agent Orange corn is out. That's absolutely not true.
One thing, Brand, that is unfortunately true is that our weed of the week is infesting fields across the country. Can you identify this week's weed?